Ways of defining business ethics include these four types, right? Number one, business ethics relating to production. Business ethics relating to production deals with the kind of products and the quality of those products that you uh, you know launch in the market. Before launching the products into the market, you must be aware that what kind of durability it will have, what kind of credibility it can serve to the customer. Next is business ethics relating to employment. Suppose you are in charge of a company, or I mean in charge of an educational institute, and you should be neutral, right? You should be, uh, you know, impartial. You should be unbiased to different categories of people, maybe in categories in terms of race, gender, caste, class, on all these social factors. You should not be biased, you should remain unbiased, and this is your ethics. Okay, next is business ethics relating to work. Whatever work we do has got some ethics, we never realize. Okay, sometimes or most of the times we don't realize what kind of ethics is going on. Okay, but ethics and work go hand in hand altogether. But we need to understand the ethics while doing the work. Otherwise, we find ourselves in doing many fraudulent activities like cheating, cut pasting, and all these things. And the last one is business ethics relating to conduct. Conduct, by the word conduct, we mean to say mannerism. Okay, ma'am. After this class, I will give you. Okay, yes. So. Yes, what I am saying that conduct, by conduct means mannerism or behavior, right? Organized behavior. We had a syllabus. You don't have mechanical engineering students had a syllabus on organizing behavior. We have dealt with that paper. So yes, organized behavior or systematic behavior, or you know uh, sophisticated behavior, you can say. So these are the business ethics that we carry with us in different phases of our life. As a student, you have some ethics. As a person, you have some ethics. As a man, you have some ethics. As a woman, you have some ethics. As a social responsible being, you have some ethics. Depends what kind of ethics you perform. Performance of the ethics are changeable, of course. Okay, what the performance of ethics is today may not remain the same for tomorrow. It may change, and obviously it will change. It is subject to change. But the ethics will remain always there till the human beings, right? So ethics are there, and whatever work is there, it can it can go back to many ancient Eastern, I mean, particularly Indian mythological scriptures. Ethics and work and karam, dharam, and all these things are there in the Indian ancient mythological scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Puran, and many other scriptures you can find. Okay, so next is features of business ethics. What are the features of business ethics? And by business ethics, I want to tell you professional ethics. Okay, so what are the features of business ethics? Will be the same answer or for the features of professional ethics. Okay, so business and professional are interchangeable in this case, though it may have some differences, but on this case, in this particular context, they are changeable. So number point number one, that is business ethics is an umbrella term which covers all business practices and that are desirable from the point of view of the society. Okay, business ethics is a kind of business practice, ethics practice, and those are desirable. Yes, people like if you behave properly, people like if you talk properly, people like if you have good ethical values and moral values with you. Obviously people will like that. Who will like your unethical behavior? Who will like your unethical mannerism? Nobody. Okay, so of course this is desirable. Ethics coexist with law. Law and ethics are also, coexistent, but has a much broader coverage. Though they are interrelated, but still, law has a different, larger scope. Ethics has a different, larger scope. Ethics aim at perfection in the conduct of life. How to become good, how to become, how to develop yourself, how to improve yourself. These are the, you know, stepping stools through which you can develop, you can achieve your ethical values of life, right? So thus it guides the law markets to have perfect rules for all human behavior. So at the one side there is ethics, and on the other hand there is law, and ethics and law go hand in hand, and they play a very crucial role in the, in the business practices, in the business lives, in the business sphere. Now the next one is the concept of equity. Equity here means equality. The concept of equity is implied in ethics. Ethics always prefer equality. Ethics always claim for sense of equality. Ethics never welcome biased or partial judgments. It aims at fair and reasonable treatment to all. Okay. Business ethics emphasize making a businessman honest, just, and responsible citizen. Okay. A business ethics creates self-imposed discipline on part of managers. Okay. Business ethics is something, that does not dictate you that you have to do this, you have to do those things. No. It is a kind of ability that will allow yourself to inculcate certain values about your work. It will make you realize that yes, if I am doing this work, then I must think about the future of it. I must be concerned about those person who are going to use this product. So it is not something that there are set rules that you will follow. No, it is not like that. It is self imposed. You will create some values and you will enjoy following that. That is what we call ethics. Okay. So maybe all the time we may not we may not justify, we may not justify ethical values, but through different phases of life, through different stages of life, we obviously go through ethical, values. Obviously we go through, right, in your teenage time, you may not be 100% honest in terms of ethics, or you may be honest. Okay, so there are different phases of life in which you go through different experiences, and out of different experiences in different times, childhood times, teenage times, puberty times, adult times, in the post adult times, different experiences you go through, and all those experiences help us to understand the ethical values of our life. Okay, that is there. It is not something that there is a book and we will follow the book like God. No, ethics is not like that. Ethics is something that comes from within. Okay, now moving ahead to the next point, that is principles of business ethics. Now, though there are no certain principles, but still, since business ethics is a largely broad discipline all over the academic institutions, all over the world, over decades upon decades upon decades. So we will see some important founders of business ethics, right? Now, as you see, Philip Foster Black, he was the director of IBE. IBE stands for Institute of Business Ethics. As you can see already, I have mentioned it. IBE is the abbreviated form of Institute of Business Ethics. Who said once that not only is ethical behavior in business life the right thing to do in principle, we have seen that it pays off in financial terms. Okay, so this is what Philip Foster Black says about business ethics. Okay, now this whole definition that Philip remarked can be understood in the 7 principles. Okay, that you already also can see just below the definition, that IB is 7 principles in the Institute of Business Ethics. They have marked 7 principles. And what are the 7 principles? Very simple. Number 1, be trustful. You should be trustful to others. People should not suspect you. Okay, people should not think that what you are saying and what you are thinking, there are different gaps. Okay, you always, people always want to be trustful, that yes, if I am saying something to you, you should trust me. Okay, there should not be any such of communication disorder. That is always there nowadays. Suppose I am saying something to you and you are listening. Not people are not a good listener nowadays, isn't it? We are not a good listener. We listen only to reply. We listen only to put our words on the table first. Whatever the second one says doesn't matter. Okay, so that is the problem. There should not be any such of communication disorder, and that is the most crucial disease nowadays. Communication disorder. Right. So, sometimes we are misusing technology to reduce human emotions in many, many ways. We using, for example, for example, let me tell you a story. Some years back, one of my, I some years back, I was having a chat with my friend in the Facebook. Okay, and I asked him that, hey, how are you? Fine. So he replied, yes, good. What about you? Uh, so I asked him that, what about you? Where are you? Where you have been now? And my friend again replied, I'm good. But if you need to know more about me, I am busy right now. Please go to my blog. Read my blog. So I go to the blog and I see I am good. There is the fixed ऐसा फिक्स्ड मैसेजेस रहता है ना, SMS होता है ना, फिक्स्ड SMS. Okay, so what I'm trying to say that there are neither face to face human communication, and even in the virtual setup, even in the cyberspace, there are not even reciprocal situation. Right, what I mean to say is that there are certain fixed conversations, fixed questions and fixed answers, and people also set up those fixed questions and answers, and people, this is how, that is the problem. This is what we can say, and not we can say, it is already said that it is communication disorder. Okay, which we need to work upon and reform human communication. That's why many psychological disorder or many crippling psychical issues are coming up. Yes, so that is there. Okay, so I was talking about be trustful. Next is keep an open mind. What should I explain upon these? You know, you understood, right? Keep an open mind. You should be mindful, meet obligations, you must face challenges, have clear documents. Your documents should not be canvassed. Your documents should be, uh, you know, your documents should claim to be clear. Become community oriented. You should be concerned of your community, be it your work community or social community or whatever community that you belong at different times. Maintain accounting control. Be respectful. So these are the 7 principles of IBE, Institute of Business Ethics. Okay, so we need to maintain these 7 principles according to IBE. Fine. Now, coming to the next point, that is, what are the factors that influence our business ethics? Obviously, if I have a personal background, if I have some personal views, my ethics will be influenced by my personal views, and you have some different personal views, so your ethics also will be influenced by by your personal views, obviously. Suppose, for example, see, I do not belong to English language culture. I have learnt and understood the language, and through certain degrees and courses, I have been enabled to teach this language, teach this subject English. But I do not belong to English. So whenever I speak in English language, as I am doing right now, my Bengali language interferes sometimes. Though it is out of practice that sometimes go away, but somehow my Bengali language interferes in my language, and some of you may notice, oh, it sounds, our English sounds like Bengali. So yes, it happens. Or if I belong to Gujarati culture, so my Gujarati language might interfere while speaking in English language. It happens. So this is the factor. This is my linguistic factor that interferes. So likewise, there are many factors that influence business ethics. Number 1 is personal views and values. Now, see, you have personal views, I have personal views. You have personal values of life, I have personal values of life. Your personal views and values are different, my personal views and values are different. Your personal views and values are different in the childhood times, then after 5 years it became different also, then after 5 years it also again became different. Now right now your personal views and values are different from what you had before in your different stages of your life. So see, it is not the difference between person to person, rather it is the number of differences that happen within the individual. Okay, so this is the personal views and values that influence ethics, and since personal views and values are changeable over times, so ethics are also changeable over times. Got it. Next is social views. Again, apply the same trick in this case as well. Social views. Your social views was different in your childhood days, and now what social views you have. At your childhood you do not have any kind of ideology that you carried sometimes, but nowadays you might have many ideologies that you take part, that you participate in actively or passively. In political, you might have some political ideology, you might have some cultural ideology, you might have some different ideologies that you enjoy. So social views are also changeable. Next is legislation. Legislation plays also an important role in your ethical values of your life. Government regulations, इससे ज़्यादा changeable और क्या हो सकता है human life में, right? So government regulations are changing, you know. You are well aware of the changeability of the government regulations, and definitely that also influence business ethics. uh, mm, right. Next is norms of industry at an individual level of education. Even norms of industry, each industry has its own rule, each institute has its own rule, so that rule also influences the kind of business ethics that is being performed. Okay. एंड इंडिविजुअल लेवल ऑफ एजुकेशन, तुम्हारा अपना जो इंडिविजुअल लेवल एजुकेशन है वो कैसा है. ओके. ऑब्वियसली सेम तो नहीं होगा, है ना, कि स्कूल में एक था अभी भी सेम ही है, ऐसा नहीं है. यू मस्ट हैव योर इंडिविजुअल एक्सपीरियंस इन डिफरेंट वेज. Okay, that is also subject to change. So if all the factors are changeable, then obviously ethics will remain changeable constantly. Okay. Okay. Coming to the next point, that is sources of business ethics. What are the sources of business ethics? What are the sources? Number one is religion, right? So religion is one of the sources of business ethics. Religion gives a sense of values in life, a sense of directions of your life. Okay. Next is cultural experience. You know, if you whatever cultural aspects, cultural ideologies, cultural integrities that you experience, that you enjoy, that you have, that you perceive, perceptions, all these things come from different cultural backgrounds. Okay, that also influence the kind of business ethics that you performed, that you will perform, and that yes, that influences the performance of your business ethics. The legal system, obviously, if you belong